The sun was setting over the busy spaceport city of Navarra. Bright lights flickered as ships landed and took off, filling the air with a constant hum. People from many planets hurried through the crowded streets, carrying goods, talking loudly, or rushing to catch their next flights. Maya walked quickly through the crowd. Her heart was pounding in her chest. She clutched a small, worn bag tightly in her hand. She wasn't from the city, and the strange voices and bright signs made her feel small and lost. But she had no choice. She needed help, and she knew exactly who to find. Ahead, near a tall metal pillar where security officers gathered, stood Jalen. He was tall and strong, with dark skin that shone softly under the city lights. His calm eyes watched the people carefully, always ready to help if trouble came. He worked as a security guard at the spaceport. Many people trusted him because he was fair and kind. Some even called him a hero, though he never said much about it. Maya took a deep breath and stepped toward him. Her voice was low and soft as she spoke. "Sir, can you pretend to be my husband, just for one day?" Jalen looked at her in surprise. The question was strange and unexpected. Who was this woman, and why would she ask something like that? Maya's eyes searched his face. She was nervous but hopeful. "Please," she whispered again, "I need your help. It's very important." Jalen nodded slowly. "Tell me why," he said, his voice calm and steady. Maya found a quiet corner nearby, away from the busy crowd. She lowered her voice even more. "My home is far from here," she began. "I come from a small colony on a distant planet. Our people are struggling. We need help, supplies, medicines, food. But the people who control that help only trust families, husbands, and wives. They believe married people are stronger, more responsible." Jalen listened carefully. Maya's words made sense, but the idea still seemed unusual. "I must attend a meeting with those leaders," she continued. "But alone, they will not listen to me. They will not trust me. If I go as a married woman, I have a better chance." She looked at Jalen with honest eyes. "I don't have a husband. That's why I'm asking you. Will you help me?" Jalen was silent for a moment. Helping a stranger like this could be risky. What if someone found out the truth? But then he saw something else in Maya's eyes, a quiet strength and a deep need. "I will help you," he said finally. "But you must tell me everything. I need to understand who we are dealing with." Maya smiled, relieved. "Thank you. That means more than you know." They walked together to a small cafe near the spaceport, away from the noise. Maya sat down and opened her bag, pulling out a thin tablet device. She tapped the screen and showed Jalen images of her home, fields of strange plants under twin suns, small houses made from shining metal, and people working hard in the heat. "This is where I come from," she said. "The colony is called Ardara. It's been part of a larger alliance for years, but recently, trade has stopped. Our leaders say it's because the other planets think we are weak and divided. They want to help, but only if they believe we are united. That's why I must go to the meeting tomorrow." Jalen looked at the pictures. The people seemed tired but hopeful. He could see the truth in Maya's story. "Who will be at the meeting?" he asked. Maya hesitated. "Leaders from the Alliance. Powerful people. They don't like outsiders, and they certainly don't trust someone who comes alone or seems weak." Jalen nodded. "What will we say? How will we act?" Maya smiled faintly. "We will act like a married couple. You will be my husband. We will show them we are united, strong. That we care for each other and for our people." Jalen thought for a moment. Pretending to be someone's husband was strange, but he knew this was about more than just a role. It was about helping people who really needed it. "Okay," he said. "I will do it. One day. Just for you." And for your people. Maya's eyes shone with gratitude. Thank you, Jalen. You don't know how much this means. The two made a plan. Jalen would learn about Maya's background, so he could act naturally. They would practice simple things: how to talk to each other, how to stand together, how to act like a real married couple. As they talked, the city outside grew darker. The stars began to twinkle in the sky above Navarra. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, Maya felt hope. Jalen looked at her and said quietly, "Tomorrow will be a long day. But maybe this will change everything." Maya nodded. It must. For Ardara. For everyone. They stood up, ready to face the challenge ahead. Two strangers joined by a simple promise to pretend to be something they were not, for a cause much bigger than themselves. And in the heart of the city, beneath the fading light, their unusual story was just beginning. The next morning, the city of Navarra woke under a pale sky, the early light casting soft shadows between the tall buildings. The spaceport was already busy, with traders, travelers, and officials moving quickly toward their destinations. The air smelled faintly of metal and fuel, mixed with the scent of fresh food from nearby stalls. Maya and Jalen met at a small rented room near the spaceport, a place they chose for privacy and quiet practice. The walls were plain, but it was enough to prepare for the important day ahead. Maya sat at the small table, scrolling through her tablet again, reviewing information about the meeting. Jalen stood nearby, watching her carefully. "So," Jalen said, "tell me more about this meeting. What will happen there? Who will be there?" Maya looked up, her eyes serious. "The meeting is with the Alliance leaders. They are representatives from many planets, big planets with strong armies and lots of resources. They decide who gets help and who doesn't. If I can convince them, Ardara will get supplies to survive." Jalen nodded. "But why do they care about if you're married or not?" Maya sighed softly. "It's a custom. In their eyes, a married person shows stability and trustworthiness. They believe that families take better care of their people and their resources. They think a single person can be more easily bribed or pressured." Jalen frowned. "That sounds unfair." Maya shrugged. "Maybe. But customs are customs. If I refuse to follow them, I risk losing everything." She paused, then added quietly, "That's why I need you. To help me pretend we are married." Jalen looked at her thoughtfully. "You said you come from a colony. What's it like there?" Maya's face softened. "Ardara is small but beautiful. We live close to nature, farming and working together. But life there is hard. The planet is harsh, and resources are scarce. Recently, trade stopped. Without supplies, many families suffer." Jalen's eyes darkened. "So, you're risking a lot by coming here." "Yes," Maya said. "But if the meeting goes well, it could save many lives." They sat quietly for a moment, both feeling the weight of the situation. "Do you think the leaders will believe us?" Jalen asked. Maya smiled faintly. "We have to be convincing. We will learn the details of each other's lives. We will act like a real couple. If we do that, they will trust us." Jalen stood and walked to the small mirror on the wall. He adjusted his shirt, trying to imagine how he would appear to the powerful leaders. "I don't know much about acting," he admitted. "But I'll do my best." Maya laughed softly. "You don't have to be an actor. Just be yourself. That's enough." They spent the morning practicing small things: how to greet each other, how to speak naturally about their life together, and how to respond to questions. "Where did you meet?" Maya asked, smiling. Jalen thought for a moment. "At a market, maybe. I helped you carry some heavy bags." Maya nodded, "Good. Something simple and believable." They practiced walking side by side, sitting close, and even sharing small smiles. The more they practiced, the more natural it felt. As the sun climbed higher, Maya stopped and looked at Jalen seriously. "There's something else you should know," she said. "Not everyone at the meeting wants Ardara to succeed. Some powerful people want us to fail." Jalen's eyes narrowed. "Why?" "Because Ardara stands between their interests and new resources. If we grow stronger, they lose influence." Jalen felt a cold shiver. "So, this meeting might be dangerous." Maya nodded. "Yes. We must be careful. Not only do we have to act as a married couple, but we also have to watch for threats." Jalen's calm face showed no fear, only determination. "We will watch each other." Maya smiled gratefully. "Thank you, Jalen. I feel stronger already." The day moved quickly. They took breaks to eat simple food from nearby stalls: fresh bread, fruit, and warm drinks. Outside, the city buzzed with life, unaware of the secret plan forming in a small room. As afternoon arrived, they prepared to leave for the meeting. Maya dressed carefully in a plain but elegant outfit that showed respect for the formal event. Jalen wore his best uniform, looking proud and steady. Before they left, Maya looked at Jalen one last time. "Tomorrow will be hard. We may have to face questions and challenges we don't expect." Jalen nodded. "I understand. But we will face it together." Maya felt a strange comfort in his words. Though they were strangers who met only yesterday, something unspoken passed between them: a trust, a shared purpose. They stepped out into the bright street, blending into the crowd of travelers and officials heading to the meeting. The spaceport hummed with energy, and the future of Ardara now rested in their hands. As they walked side by side, Maya whispered, "Thank you for believing in me. And for believing in us." Jalen smiled. "We will make them believe." The city faded behind them, and ahead lay a day full of challenges, dangers, and hope. The morning sun warmed the tall buildings of Navarra as Maya and Jalen arrived at the grand hall where the alliance leaders were gathering. The building was massive, made of polished metal and glass that reflected the light in sharp angles. Guards stood at the entrance, checking badges and credentials with serious faces. This was no ordinary meeting, it was a place where futures were decided. Maya adjusted her jacket nervously, feeling the weight of the moment. Beside her, Jalen stood tall and calm, his presence steady and reassuring. Together, they looked like a real married couple on an important mission. "Remember," Jalen said quietly, "we stay confident. We answer questions honestly, but carefully." Maya nodded. "And act like we trust each other." They stepped inside and entered a large room filled with tables, chairs, and groups of people speaking in low voices. The leaders of many planets wore different uniforms and robes, each with their own style and symbols. The air was thick with tension and power. A tall woman with silver hair and sharp eyes approached them. She looked at Maya first, then at Jalen. "Welcome, representatives of Ardara," she said, her voice clear and commanding. "I am Director Vila. I will oversee today's discussions." Maya smiled politely. "Thank you, Director Vila. We are honored to be here." Vila nodded and motioned for them to follow. "Please, sit here. The meeting will begin shortly." Maya and Jalen found their seats at a long table where other delegates were already talking quietly. Maya's heart beat fast, but she kept her face calm. She glanced at Jalen, who gave her a small, encouraging nod. Soon, the meeting began. Leaders took turns speaking about trade, security, and alliances. Maya listened carefully, noting how some looked at her with suspicion while others seemed indifferent. When it was their turn, Director Vila spoke again. "Now, we hear from Ardara's representatives. Please, tell us why your colony needs support." Maya stood and looked around the room. She remembered the stories from her home: the dry fields, the sick children, The tired families. She took a deep breath. Our colony, Ardara, is a small community facing great challenges, she began. Our resources are low, and without support, many will suffer. We ask for help to rebuild and grow stronger. She spoke clearly and with passion. The room was silent, listening to her words. Jalen stood beside her, adding, "We come as a family, united and committed to our people's future. Together, we will use any aid wisely and responsibly." A few heads nodded, but others remained doubtful. After the speech, questions began. A tall man with a cold voice asked, "How can we be sure Ardara will use the support well? What guarantees do you offer?" Maya looked at Jalen. He smiled slightly and whispered, "We have a plan." She answered, "We have prepared detailed reports and projects. Our people are ready to work hard and be accountable. We want a chance to prove ourselves." The questions continued, some polite, others sharp. Maya and Jalen worked as a team. Maya answered most questions, and Jalen supported her with facts and calm reassurances. As the meeting went on, Maya noticed something strange. A group of delegates whispered together, casting glances their way. Their faces showed suspicion, maybe even dislike. Jalen caught her eye and said softly, "They don't want us here. We have enemies." Maya felt a chill but kept her focus. "We must be careful. Watch for anything unusual." During a break, Maya and Jalen moved to the side, away from the crowd. "Who are they?" Maya asked, nodding toward the group. Jalen shook his head. "I'm not sure, but I recognize their symbols. They belong to a powerful faction that wants Ardara weak and isolated." Maya clenched her fists. "Then we have to be stronger." Jalen put a hand on her shoulder. "We will be." The meeting resumed, and the tension grew. The opposing faction asked more questions, trying to find faults or contradictions in Maya's story. But Maya stayed calm, answering honestly but confidently. Jalen noticed one delegate trying to signal someone secretly. He quietly moved closer and saw the man slipping a small device into his pocket, a listening tool, maybe even a bug. Jalen's mind raced. He knew they had to act carefully. If the enemy could listen to their private talks, their plan could be exposed. After the meeting ended for the day, Maya and Jalen found a quiet corner to talk. "We must protect our information," Jalen said. "We can't let them spy on us." Maya nodded. "I agree. Tomorrow, we will be more careful." As they left the hall, people watched them, some with respect, others with doubt. Maya felt the weight of their mission, but also a growing strength inside her. She was not alone. Jalen walked beside her, ready for whatever came next. Together, they were more than a fake couple. They were a team with a purpose and a chance to change the future. The day was far from over, but they had taken the first step in the dangerous game of politics and power. And in that game, every move mattered. The evening sky over Navarro was deep blue, dotted with stars that flickered like distant fires. The city's bright lights reflected off the glass towers, casting long shadows over the streets. Inside a quiet room at a small inn, Maya and Jalen sat across from each other, reviewing what had happened at the meeting. The air was thick with tension. Both of them knew the day had been hard, but they had done well. Still, there was something that did not sit right with Maya, the feeling that they were being watched. Jalen rubbed his chin thoughtfully. "I saw that delegate slip a listening device. Someone wants to hear our plans." Maya's eyes narrowed. "They don't want Ardara to succeed. They want to keep us weak." Jalen nodded. "We need to be more careful. Tomorrow, we should meet only in secure places." Maya sighed. "I hate that we have to hide even from people in the alliance." Jalen's voice was calm but serious. "In politics, trust is rare. You have to be ready for anything." Just then, a soft knock came at the door. Maya and Jalen looked at each other, alert. "Who is it?" Jalen called. A voice replied quietly, "It's me, Lena. I'm a friend. I have information you need." Maya and Jalen exchanged glances before opening the door. A young woman stepped inside. She wore a simple jacket and had sharp eyes that scanned the room quickly. "I'm sorry to come so late," Lena said. "But I had to be sure it was safe." Maya motioned for her to sit. "Thank you for coming. What do you know?" Lena took a deep breath. "There are people in the Alliance who want Ardara to fail. They are working behind the scenes to stop the aid from reaching your colony. I heard from my contacts that they plan to sabotage the next meeting." Jalen frowned. "Sabotage how?" "Disrupt the talks, spread false information, maybe even harm representatives who support Ardara," Lena said. "They want to create doubt and fear." Maya's heart pounded. "We have to stop them." Lena nodded. "I'm here to help. I know people who can protect you, but we have to act fast." Jalen looked at Maya. "What do you think?" Maya took a deep breath. "We don't have a choice. We must accept the help." For the rest of the night, they planned. Lena gave them contacts for trusted guards and safe places to meet. She warned them to watch their backs and avoid sharing secrets in public. The next morning, Maya and Jalen arrived early at the meeting hall. This time, they were not alone. Two quiet guards from Lena's group stood near them, watching carefully. The leaders gathered again, but the atmosphere was heavier. Whispers of doubt and suspicion filled the air. During the talks, Maya noticed some delegates exchanging secret messages. Their eyes met hers with cold expressions. Jalen leaned close and whispered, "They're trying to intimidate us." Maya held her ground. "We must not show fear." Suddenly, a loud noise erupted near the entrance. People turned to see a group of masked figures pushing past the guards. Shouts filled the room as chaos began. Maya grabbed Jalen's arm. "Stay close." The masked figures shouted accusations, claiming Ardara was lying about their needs. They threw papers and tried to break the meeting apart. The guards moved quickly, trying to stop the troublemakers. Jalen helped calm the crowd, his voice firm and commanding. Maya spoke to the leaders, urging calm and order. "Please, do not let fear divide us. Ardara only asks for a chance to prove ourselves." Slowly, the masked figures were pushed out, and the meeting resumed. But the damage was done. Doubt lingered in the room like smoke. After the meeting, Maya and Jalen returned to their safe place. They were shaken but determined. "We can't let this stop us," Maya said. "The people of Ardara depend on us." Jalen nodded. "We have faced danger today and survived. Tomorrow, we will be stronger." As they prepared for the next day, both knew the fight was far from over. But they also knew they were not alone. Together, they were ready to face the unseen enemies and protect the future of their home. The morning sun cast a warm glow over Navarra, but inside a quiet room where Maya and Jalen met, the atmosphere was calm and focused. The previous day's chaos still weighed on their minds, but neither wanted to show it. There was too much at stake. Maya sat at the small table, her fingers tapping nervously against the surface. Jalen poured 2 cups of warm tea and handed one to her. "Here," he said softly. "You need to stay strong." Maya smiled faintly, taking the cup. The warmth helped soothe her nerves. "Thank you," she said. "I don't know what I would do without you." Jalen shook his head gently. "You don't have to say that. We are in this together." They sat quietly, each thinking about the days ahead. For the first time since they met, Maya felt a small lightness inside her, a feeling she hadn't experienced in a long time. Over the last few days, they had spent hours practicing how to act like a real married couple. It wasn't just about words or actions, it was about trust. They learned to read each other's expressions, to listen closely, and to understand when one needed support. Jalen reached out and lightly touched Maya's hand. "You're doing great. I'm proud of you." Maya looked at him, surprised by the kindness in his eyes. "You too," she said softly. They both knew that their partnership was more than just an act now. It was becoming real in its own way, a bond built on respect and shared purpose. Later that day, they walked through the city's busy market to relax for a while. The noise and color of the stalls were a sharp contrast to the quiet tension of the meeting halls. Vendors called out to customers, offering fresh fruit, spices, and handcrafted goods. Maya smiled as she picked up a small basket filled with bright red berries. "It's good to see life going on outside all this." Jalen nodded. "Sometimes it's easy to forget what we're fighting for." They found a quiet bench near a fountain and sat down. People passed by, some stopping to glance at them with curiosity, but mostly they were left alone. Maya leaned her head on Jalen's shoulder. "I feel safer with you." Jalen smiled, feeling a warmth he hadn't expected. "And I with you." Their eyes met, and for a moment, everything else faded away. The city noise, the danger, the politics, all of it seemed distant. But then Maya remembered why they were here. "We can't forget," she said quietly. "Our mission is bigger than us." Jalen nodded. "I know. But this bond, this trust, it will help us get through the hard days." That evening, back at their rented room, they reviewed the plans for the next meeting. This time, they would present more detailed proposals about Ardara's future, how the aid would be used to improve farming, education, and health. "We have to show them we mean business," Maya said, looking determined. Jalen smiled. "With you leading, how could we fail?" They practiced again how to speak clearly, how to answer tough questions, and how to support each other when challenged. Maya noticed how natural it was to rely on Jalen. Even though they had started as strangers, they were becoming a team. Before they went to sleep, Maya looked at Jalen and said softly, "Thank you for being here." "For everything." Jalen reached out and gently squeezed her hand. "Always." The days ahead were uncertain, but one thing was clear: together, they were stronger. Not just as a team pretending to be married, but as two people who believed in a better future. As they prepared to face the next challenge, both knew they were not alone. They had each other. And sometimes, that was enough. The morning light filtered softly through the curtains of their small room, but inside, Maya and Jalen were already wide awake. Today was the day of the final presentation to the Alliance leaders. Everything they had worked for would be tested. Maya sat quietly, reviewing her notes one last time. Jalen paced back and forth, his mind running through all the possible questions and challenges they might face. The silence between them was filled with a mix of nervous energy and determination. Finally, Jalen stopped and looked at Maya. "We've done everything we can. Now, we just have to be ourselves." Maya smiled softly. Together, they left the room and made their way to the grand hall where the leaders waited. The atmosphere was tense, the weight of decisions to come pressing down on everyone. As they entered, Maya noticed the faces of the opposing faction. Their expressions were cold, almost hostile. But this time, Maya felt different. She was ready. The meeting began with formal speeches, but soon it was time for Ardara's representatives to speak again. Maya stood and faced the crowd. "Thank you for giving us this chance. Today, we bring you a clear plan for Ardara's future." She spoke with confidence, detailing projects to improve farming using new technology, education programs for children, and healthcare initiatives. She explained how the aid would be carefully managed and how the community would work together for success. Jalen stood beside her, supporting her words with data and clear examples. Together, they showed unity and strength. The leaders listened intently. Some nodded in approval, while others whispered among themselves. Then, the opposing faction stood. Their leader, a stern man named Cray, challenged the plan. "How can we trust Ardara when they have so little experience with such projects?" he asked sharply. "This sounds like a risk to our resources." Maya met his gaze steadily. "Every great journey starts with risk, Cray. But with careful planning and support, Ardara will grow and contribute to the alliance." Jalen added, "We have a team of experts ready to guide these projects. We will be transparent and accountable." The room grew quiet. The leaders whispered and debated. After long minutes, Director Vila spoke. "The proposal is strong, but concerns remain. We will place Ardara under careful observation with regular reports." Maya and Jalen nodded. It was not a complete victory, but it was enough. As the meeting ended, several leaders approached them, offering words of support. Lena, the ally who had warned them, smiled warmly. "You did well," she said quietly. "Ardara has a chance now." Outside, the sun shone brightly. Maya and Jalen stood together, feeling the weight lift slightly. But their journey was not over. As they walked through the city, Jalen said, "We have the chance to build something real now. But it will take hard work." Maya looked at him with new respect. "And trust." Jalen smiled. "More than an act. We are partners." For the first time, Maya felt hope not just for Ardara, but for herself. The bond they had formed went beyond pretending. It was a beginning. And together, they would face whatever came next. The days after the meeting passed quickly. Maya and Jalen stayed in Navarra, working side by side to prepare for the real challenge, turning their plans into action. The alliance leaders had given Ardara a chance, but now it was up to them to prove they deserved it. Early each morning, they met with engineers, farmers, and teachers who had traveled from Ardara. Together, they planned projects to improve the soil, build new schools, and create small clinics for healthcare. Maya watched as Jalen spoke with the workers, his confidence growing. He was no longer just a stranger pretending to be her husband. He was a partner, a friend, and a leader. One afternoon, as the sun dipped low behind the city's towers, Maya and Jalen sat on a bench overlooking a small park. The city's noise felt distant here, replaced by the gentle sound of leaves rustling in the breeze. Maya sighed happily. "It feels good to take a moment to breathe." Jalen smiled. "Yes. We have done so much in such a short time." She looked at him, her eyes soft. "Thank you for everything, Jalen. For standing by me, for believing in Ardara." He took her hand gently. "You gave me a reason to believe. Not just in Ardara, but in us." Maya's heart warmed. They had started this journey as strangers thrown together by chance, but now something real had grown between them. News from Ardara arrived regularly. The projects were beginning, and the people back home were hopeful for the first time in years. Supplies reached the colony, schools opened their doors, and farmers learned new ways to grow crops. One evening, as they prepared to leave Navarra and return to Ardara, Maya and Jalen received a message from Director Vila. "We want to thank you for your efforts," the message read. "Your courage and honesty have changed many minds. Ardara's future is brighter because of you." Maya smiled at Jalen. "We did it?" Jalen nodded, but his eyes showed a quiet thoughtfulness. "The real work begins now. Back home, there will be challenges." Maya agreed. "But we will face them together." On the ship that took them home, the stars stretched endlessly outside the window. Maya and Jalen sat side by side, ready for whatever the future held. As the ship moved through space, Maya whispered, "I asked you to pretend to be my husband for one day. But you have become so much more." Jalen smiled. "Sometimes, the best things in life begin with a simple request." The colony of Ardara awaited them, full of hope and new dreams. Together, Maya and Jalen would build a future not just for their people, but for themselves. And in that future, trust, friendship, and maybe something deeper would grow. The stars shone bright, lighting the path to new beginnings.